Good morning and welcome to It's How You'll Be Remembered. I am Julie Jones, your host and the CEO of today's professionals. And with us today is our special guest, Megan Bozzuto. She is the president of the International Association of Women. Megan, welcome to the show. We're so glad you are here.
Julie, I'm so excited for this opportunity. Thank you so much for having me.
I have been so excited about talking to you. We've talked a few times on the IAW side, and we have such great conversations. We're just like cut from the same cloth. So I wanted to speak today about the power of community and how it helps you elevate not only your career, but also your soul. I mean, having that close-knit group of people who see something in you that you don't see in yourself is really important,
It
right?
is.
And you this is what you do, right? You build communities.
I do. And it's interesting because if you had asked me when I graduated college and started my career what my dream job was or my goal, I never would have landed on building community for women. It wouldn't have been on my radar. Didn't
Yeah.
even know it was a thing really. And I often look back and go, "Oh, I wish I had known that was a thing when I started my
Mhm.
my career at a big company 20 plus years ago."
Right.
Um, I rolled into IAW through a marketing role, and it was actually through my network and community that got me the job at IAW. And I just fell in love with the model and the concept of we always feel so isolated and so alone. You could be sitting in an office with 100 people, but if the
Mhm.
community piece is not there, you often end up feeling like you're on an island, right? And you're
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
do it all without having
Mhm.
support. And it can be isolating, it can be frustrating, it's hard. And the reality is nobody truly has to be alone. Even I am a remote employee now. I sit in my house all day by myself, but I never feel alone.
Yeah.
I have people I can call at all points in time. I often have to reach out and get connected, but I have a community of people who are there for me. And
Yeah,
it
that's so important, right? And I love the fact, and I'm sorry, I think I might have just talked over you. Sorry
that's
about
okay. I could talk all day about this, so I'll
right.
let you carry it.
Well, I didn't mean to. I really love the fact that you said that you're at home all day and that you don't feel alone. And I kind of want to drill down on that because there's two
Mhm,
sides to that story. There are those people who are like you who say, look, I'm at home, I'm by myself, but I don't feel alone because I am with a community virtually or on the phone, and I'm always with people, but I'm not in their presence. And then we have people who say, I can only be in my home so long. I have to get out. I've got to go to a coffee shop or a shared workspace.
mhm,
That's me.
mhm,
I love my downtime, but there are just times where I need to get out and be in the presence of people. And
mhm,
so I love the fact that we both know that about ourselves. And we
mhm,
have to be able to identify that and say, what makes us most productive? What makes us happy and satisfied? And where do we find joy in life
mhm.
by working? Because we work all the time.
We did.
These days
And I
we do.
will say, I mean, I'm in a co-working space today,
Yeah.
also because I had to be in a different location today, but once every couple weeks, I will find a block of time on my calendar where I don't have calls, and I'll go to a coffee shop, and I bring my list of things I need to do, and I just sit and, like, chunk out work. Because
Mhm.
sometimes when I'm home, there's too many distractions.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
so I think it's important for anyone to figure out where do you thrive? What do you really need in terms of a work style and setup?
Yeah.
But a part of that is the community and the piece of
Mhm.
having people around you. Even, I mean, I'm an introvert. I really love my quiet time at home. If I'm around people and talking a lot, I have to find time to recharge. But
Mhm.
I also like have found balance there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's key that you know that about yourself
Mhm.
and that you say, look, I need my time because I'm that way too. I need my time. But
Mhm.
there's also time where I just need to be with people.
Mhm.
And I found a co-working space that I really like that's not far from here. And I also, my church is a place that opens up. They have free Wi-Fi, they have cafe, and they have little spaces where you can meet. And
Mhm.
it's a big space. It's very welcoming. And it's really kind of cool. I've gone up there a couple of times just to
Mhm.
be with people.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
kind
and that's I think so often when we think about space and workspace, we think very fixed mindset in terms of it has to be an office, it has to be a cubicle, it has to be, but in reality, the way the world works now, we really can work from anywhere.
of,
And I love that your church has a space for that, right? Because I also think we thrive in environments where we connect with like-minded people. And
right,
so if church is your place, and you feel comfortable there, you're going to find people who support that comfort and that confidence. And
right.
you, that's, I think, the best way to build community and connection. And
Mhm.
so I love finding spaces like that.
Yeah, and I think there's places like that in every city. You just have to get out
Mhm.
a little bit. So you have to get out and go find them. And there's a co-working space here that I found that you can go to without being a member. You just have to accept whatever's open. The members get to book the space, and if you have a private office, then you
Yeah.
get to first booking, and then if you are a member, you get the second booking. And if you walk in, you just take what they got.
Yeah.
But they do have, the open spaces where you can sit. They have free Wi-Fi. They have
Mhm.
coffee and water and popcorn, and it's
Mhm.
just a very welcoming and fun environment. And the people there are great. It's called the Meeting Place, and
Mhm.
it's really not far from here. As a matter of fact, we did an IAW meeting there last month.
Nice.
It was fantastic. Yeah, it was a great
Yeah.
space, and it was just they've got a big meeting room, so you have to
Mhm.
just find those places, and the way you find those places is to get out and meet people and build your network,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
And it's so I think networking, I talk to a lot of people about networking and they're like, "Oh, I don't love networking. I don't love introducing myself to strangers and swapping business cards." And I'm like, "Well, but stop making it a dirty thing. Stop making it a bad thing. Think about it as building community and think
Right.
about it in terms of just getting out there to meet people, to support
Yeah,
people. If you start with the mindset of how can I serve, how can I give back, how can I get really curious about other people,
yeah.
it takes the ick factor out of it. I
Yes, 100%. Quit
Mhm.
going out there and exchanging business cards. Just quit.
Yeah.
Go out there just to meet people.
Mhm. I will never forget, I was at an event once, and I was sitting at a table talking to 3 other women, and another woman walked over, and she literally took a stack of her business cards and dropped them on the middle of the table and walked away, and I thought, "Hmm, is that am I supposed to take her card and contact her? I don't know who she is, I don't know if it's relevant," and it irritated me. It, like, drove this, like, oh, are we that business card oriented that it's literally just a swap of business cards? Because I wanna get to know you, and
Right.
I'm all for building connections, whether they'll add value in the long term or not, but
Yes.
if I don't even have the chance to say, "Hi, who are you? How can I help you?" It feels very cold and
That
transactional.
yes. It's transactional, and that's what it is.
Mhm,
I've seen the same thing too with, chambers of commerce or other organizations and even IAW.
mhm,
Anytime you join an organization, you can't sit back and go, "Okay, I'm a member now. People are gonna start calling me and wanting to do business with me."
mhm,
It's called networking for a reason because your network really is your net worth, and we're gonna talk about some research that supports that in just a minute,
yeah,
but it's about getting to know people without the business sense. So
mhm,
just talking to people.
mhm,
That's it. Just talking to people, finding
yep,
out what they're excited about, finding
yeah.
out what's
Well,
going on in their world, being interested in other people. The
mhm.
business comes after they get to know you.
Right. And that's the 2 points I'll make there. One, you mentioned, like, just because you join an organization doesn't mean that you've clicked a magic button and suddenly tomorrow you're gonna be having amazing results, right? It's just like with a gym membership. If you don't step foot inside that door, you're
Right.
not getting the benefit of the gym membership. And it's the same
100%.
thing with IAW. I tell our members this all the time. I can't just magically fix your business. You have to show up and participate, and we'll find you the right support, but we can't do that without getting to know you first and going through the process.
Yes.
I had a second point and now I completely forgot it. So maybe it'll
Welcome
come
to
back.
my world.
It was good too, but that's okay. Well, I'm sure it'll come back to me and then I'll be like, this is what I was going to
This is
say.
well, when it comes back, and it will, then just
Yep.
say, "Hey, I want to go back to that point," because
Yep.
you're exactly right. You can't join an organization and then expect to become an order taker,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
people don't really buy what you're selling, they buy you.
Yes.
And
Yep.
so if they don't know you, they're not even interested in buying what you're selling.
I remember what it was now.
Yay,
Um, the
okay.
second piece of that is some of my best referrals or connections have come through non-business networking events. Things at
Yep,
church, things at my mom's group, things at school. And it's all because of that like-minded. I'm spending time with people who I have other things in common with, authentic dialogue and connection. And then suddenly it's like, I know this person doing this and you could help them, or I know
right.
someone who needs that. So it takes the transaction networking out of it. And it
Yes.
really is about community and
Yep,
participating in community events and things that fill you up outside of just your
yes.
business role.
100%. Because people go into networking events thinking, I'm going to find new customers. That is why they go hand out business cards and then leave.
And then they
But
fail and they're frustrated and
right.
they networking gets a bad rap because they're not having results.
Yes. Yes. But here's the thing. Networking is not about doing business with people in the room.
Mhm.
It's about getting to know each other so that you can do business through each other with which is exactly what you just said. Oh, wait, I know somebody who.
Mhm.
So you
Mhm.
add people to your referral network when you go networking.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really requires a mindset shift for a lot of people to view it
Yeah.
as a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But I also know when you have that shift in mindset and you show up with purpose and you show up with the mindset of connection, you walk away with results. The results might not come that day, but you're going to slowly build up that referral network and you'll find things get passed back and forth when people truly know who you are and they trust you and they believe in what you're doing.
Yes, 100%. And I didn't mention at the beginning, if you are joining us live, let us know you're here. I see some people popping in, saying, let us know you're here. Say hello. We are live with Megan Bozzuto, president of IAW, the International Association of Women, and we're talking about building community today. So be sure and say hello. We want to hear from you. And if you have a comment about networking or building a community, let us know. And it is so funny because as we are speaking, the yard crews decided to join. So forgive the forgive the noise. Sometimes you just can't control the yard crew. So
Life, it's
we do have some people. Toby Beth Johnson is here. She is saying, so relevant and timely. Thank you, ladies. Toby Beth, we are so glad you're here. Thank you for your comment. And then Eileen McDonald is here. Hello, Eileen. She joined us last month at our IAW meeting at the meeting place. We were just talking about that, Eileen. I hope that we will see you tomorrow or tonight. It's actually tonight as well.
and I
And
have to say, never have I been so disappointed to not be in Dallas because
right.
event tonight looks fantastic.
I know. I know. We're going to be talking about elevating your style. It is going to
Yeah.
be amazing.
Some
And then Ida
massive,
is here. She says, "Hi, Megan. Hi, Julie." Ida was also there last month. And I hope that we will see you tonight. And she says, "LOL" to the yard crew. I mean, it just, it is what it is, right?
it's the way it goes. Yes.
So Ida,
Yeah.
I hope we see you there too. I know Toby Beth doesn't live in Dallas. She's a fellow Ziegler coach with me, but Eileen and Ida are here, and I hope that we see you tonight as well. Yes, because we're going to have like a lady there who makes custom clothing for women, and I actually have a dress. I invested in myself. I'll be wearing it, as Suzanne will also be wearing her dress. We have a makeup artist going to be there. And we also have somebody who's going to talk about what colors you should wear. There's a lot of talk right now about branding and colors and what you should be wearing. So don't just pick your favorite color, pick something that looks really good on you. So we'll be talking about all of that tonight. Can't wait for that.
Serious FOMO over here.
I know. Well,
So,
come on. You can just jump on a plane.
I
You
know,
can be,
right?
yes.
Yeah, that's that. I wish I could be there, but I will be there
Yeah.
in spirit.
Oh, we will be thinking about you. We'll send you a picture.
Perfect.
So I want to get to though the research behind community, because I really like to dive into, is it just me or is there something that really supports my feelings? Because I tend to be very emotionally driven and I go with my gut, which I love that because I think my gut always takes me in a good direction, and it lets me know, to do something or not to do something. But, when I started networking years ago, I was growing a plumbing company and we had more time than money at the time. We couldn't really afford to advertise. We were needing help. We needed to invest in that, not in advertising. And so we learned to network and we got really good at it. And the first year that we did that, we drove $350,000 to our revenue that year, which helped us hire more people and get what we needed. In addition to what we were already doing, but it was very strategic for us. And so here is some research that shows why, whether you're an entrepreneur or if you are working in a corporate world, why a strong network helps you. And so the first one is from Wired. And it says women who combine broad networks with a close-knit circle of female peers. And we're speaking to women here. And I'm going to say close-knit being small circle. I don't think your inner circle should be big. Are more likely to secure high-ranking leadership positions. Megan, speak to that and let us know your experience with that.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I've moved a lot in my life and in my career. I've pivoted from accounting into marketing. I now lead a women's organization, so I live and
Yeah.
breathe these networks all day. I have a close knit of, I'll call them friends. They're moms from within town, but they all work full time or run large businesses. And they are my biggest cheerleaders. So I can go to them and talk confidentially about private things if I need to. I can go to them if I'm like, oh, do I do this? Do I do that? I can go to them. And it's that close-knit circle that is always the voice in the back of my head. Like, I can do this, right? We all have imposter syndrome. We all have times where it's like, oh, do I belong here? Am I making the right decision? And the broad network is great, right? Because you want that exposure and you want to have a large, I'll say, Rolodex of people to call from. But
Mhm.
when you combine with that close-knit group, it gives you confidence that is unlike anything else, I think.
Yeah.
And I see this play out through IAW as well, where I start seeing members engage with each other and show up and do pop-up events with each other. And it's
Yeah.
like building those relationships of people who just get it. And you can spill all the stuff that's not fun about being a woman in leadership. It gives you a boost of confidence.
Mhm. Yeah. I agree. And I love the fact that we just circled back to what we were talking about. You love seeing the interaction of women in IAW who are doing things together. Because
Mhm.
when you get to know people, that we didn't just join an organization, we get involved.
Yeah, I call
Which
it AAW members in the wild, where like, so an example of this is somebody in the DC area was hosting an event for moms, and somebody in San Diego had just published a book about working moms. So she sent copies of the book to the event in DC, and
wow.
they met through IAW. And it's like,
Yeah.
I love seeing those collaborations and those conversations happen,
Yeah.
because it's that's what we need more of.
That's what we need. Yes, we need to really align ourselves with like-minded people, and organizations like IAW are perfect for that. And again, though, I have discernment. Because part of the problem with networking is in any city. So I'm in Dallas. We can network morning, noon, and night, 5 days a week. And we find that we're just always attending events. But the strategy behind that is I'd rather see somebody do less events and be more intentional about the connections and the
Mhm.
strategy behind
Right,
networking, rather
right.
than go and say, I want to be part of this, and I want to be part of this, and I want to be part of this. And so I've had to pare down
Mhm.
what I'm a part of. I had to have discernment and say, which organizations do I really want to be a part of that will surround me with people who are like-minded, share values, and
Mm,
are where I want to be, that I can look up to, and
yep,
then also have women who look up to me.
yep,
Because as I'm linking arms with somebody up here, I'm also wanting to link arms with somebody coming along behind me.
absolutely. Such an
And so
important piece of it is
yeah,
the circle, right?
yeah,
We're always supporting each other no matter what level. But I think you're absolutely right when it comes to events and networking groups, like quality over quantity will result in better ROI for you. And I always say to this to people who ask about IAW and should I join, I'm like, listen, I believe it's a great community. It has done amazing things for me personally and professionally. It is my full-time job, but it might not work for you. If you really need in-person events and we don't have a local chapter in your city, then are you going to get the value out of it? And if not, that's okay. I'm not here to be like, you have to join, you have to be a member, it's going to change your life. It's you have to know what your goals are
mhm,
and find a community that's going to support those goals and your style
yeah,
more than anything else.
100%, 100%. So
Mhm.
there's a second research out here that I want to jump into that supports what we were just talking about. That 80% of women leaders have leveraged networking to join boards to get out in the community, because it's really not about just us in our world, where we are. It's really about getting on boards out there and serving nonprofits and really finding and supporting causes that we love, as well as get into the C-suite and higher paying positions, which supports the research we just saw. But I think the network, because our purpose in life, share with me your thoughts on this, but our purpose in life is to use our business and our jobs and the way that we make ends meet and put food on our table is just that. That's what it does. But
Mhm.
the purpose is to then serve the community that we're in,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that completely, that we all have to go to work every day. We all have jobs to do, and we all have to earn a living and take care of our families and feed ourselves and all of
Mhm.
that. But at the end of the day, what is the impact we're having on the community as well? Because that is such an important piece of our entire existence.
Yeah.
And when I read this stat that you have here, um, it, it holds true in so many ways. Like, there's so much research and data and information out there about how important it is that people know who you are, that they trust you, that they know what you're looking for. Because if Julie, if you came to me tomorrow and said, "Oh, I know this company, they're looking for a CEO, you would be great." Well, guess what? Now is not the time in my life,
Right.
right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and but you know what I'm going through in my life right now. I have some personal challenges, and like when you know people and you can trust them and you build those relationships where it's like, oh, I heard of this and I think Megan could be a really good fit for this. I'm going to give her a call.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
you're isolating in your own home or in an office and you're head down working all the time and not out in the community, you're missing out on those opportunities to have
Yes.
your name floating, because
Right.
often that's where the opportunity comes. It's some you want people mentioning your name when opportunity is there. Um, and that this, I think, pays a lot of respect to that point
Mhm.
of being connected and not just business card transactional, but really knowing, hey, you'd be an awesome fit for this, and I'm gonna put your name in the hat.
And I love that too. And, we have a higher calling in life. So knowing that you'd be a great fit, um, people will come to you and say, I like for me, I have a calling to work with young people.
Mhm,
It's my passion. So people will come to me and say, do you want to work with this organization who is working with students in high school, students in middle school? Do you want to speak at this event? Do you want to do these things? And I do them either for free or at a discount, depending
mhm.
on the situation, because it's a calling
Yep,
to really help people, the young people, get a foothold on life.
yep. Yeah,
And
no, and
so
I think it's an obligation for all of us to find those places. It might not kids might not be your thing, right? It might not be giving back to a younger generation, but where can you have an impact? There's a
yeah,
ripple effect there, right?
yeah,
You don't have to support a group of 20. You could support one person, and that one person could use that to go support the group of 20. Just think
correct.
about those pieces and that impact you can have, that fuels your purpose, makes you
Mhm.
feel.
Yeah. Yeah, because and you said something earlier that I really wanted to touch on, and it's like, you need to be out there because people need to know you. So, there used to be a saying that was, "It's not what you know, but who you know," which that's
Mhm,
true.
mhm.
But it's also not what you know, but who knows you.
Who knows you? Yep,
Who knows you? And
yep.
so getting out there and sharing your passion with people is really important because it speaks to our higher calling.
Yeah, and I think the the other side of that is also really thinking about your personal brand and how you show up. Because if you let's say you go to this event in Dallas tonight and you sit in the back of the room and you're buried in your cell phone and you're not engaging with people, then that's what you're gonna be known for. And so
Mhm.
think about the vibe you're giving off in that room. Think about how you make people feel,
Yes,
because if you're the person that's disengaged in the room, then you're not top of mind when there's opportunity.
that's right.
Um, and I don't say that to put pressure on people and say, "You have to show up and be perfectly dressed and be completely spot on." Like, I want
Right,
you to be authentic. And if tonight's not the night to engage, that's okay.
right.
But consistency is important. And so think about that every time you attend an event, you're making an impression whether you want to or not. And
That's
your
right.
impression is based on what they're seeing. It's not necessarily the who you are or what's on your resume. It's really how you're making someone feel. And I think that's important to keep in mind.
You're speaking my language. Just keep going. I mean, this is
Well, that's why every time you speak, I'm always like, "Oh, I just love Julie. Julie has the best." It's I think we're in alignment on many, many things.
many things.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
100%.
there are times I don't wanna be the chatty person in the room. I don't always love engaging with people, but I try to at least not be the person in the back of the room that has my head down and is like,
That's
"Just
right.
ignore me."
And so many people do that when they go to events. And so
Mhm.
you mentioned, the energy that you're giving off because very negative, because what you're saying is when you're like this, you're closed off, what you're saying to people is, I don't really want to be here. And so
Mhm.
people are going to go, okay,
Even when you're on a meeting like this, right? If I
camera
show
off,
up, if I'm like this, or my camera's off,
cameras
or
off.
I'm like typing and like working on other things, like what impression is that having on people?
Yeah.
I see it all the time where I get it if you're back to back and trying to
Mhm.
multitask, but think about when you have opportunities to engage, are you using those opportunities fully
Yeah.
and participating? It's really something to pay attention to, I think.
Oh, 100%. People want to see you. So that's why
Mhm,
people go to job interviews. The first interview is usually a virtual interview. And
mhm.
they'll show up on a job interview and not turn their camera on. It's like, okay, you're not going to move on because people
Right.
want to see you
They
because you
want
can't connect. You know,
Yeah.
somebody did this last week. Brian Gawke did this. He was like, okay, so let's talk. I mean, this just not really effective.
And I see that and I'm like, "Oh, are we that's okay. We could just have a phone conversation."
Right.
But
That's right.
it's there's like, if I have to turn my camera off, I usually put something in the chat, like, "I'm really sorry, I have to step away, I have to be off camera." There's ways to handle it, and I'm not saying my expectation is that you are on 100% of the time because that's impossible to maintain,
Mhm.
but be really mindful of how you're showing up when
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
and
Let's get
authenticity
to
will
the
always win.
and what? Say that again.
Authenticity will always win, so
Oh,
you have to
yes.
show up authentically.
Yes, yes, and
Mhm.
I speak to that now. I'm teaching people, do you know who you are? Because I find that people life happens and we lose who we are, so we have to reconnect. And so,
Yeah,
yes, that's
yeah.
so fun.
Mhm.
Let me get to the comments. Ida is going to be there. Yes, I'm so excited. I'm glad you're going to be there. Toby Beth has chimed in. When people know, like, and trust you, they will lead you to opportunities to serve in your purpose. Amen to that. That's about the referral and people when people know what your purpose is, but they have to get to know you first. And she says, know, like, and trust. That's not cliche.
Mhm, mhm.
Thank
Absolutely.
you, Toby Beth. And Angie says, the world needs your art. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. We talk about that so much. The art of face-to-face conversations, the art
Mm,
of just showing up, the art of being you. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. You're so
yeah,
right. She'll be
it's
there tonight, I think. Yes.
yay. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I think
Oops.
when you think about showing up and if it's overwhelming or intimidating, commit to one event in the next month, right? Don't overwhelm your schedule. Don't make yourself super uncomfortable. Just find
Mhm.
one event and set a very small goal of walking away with one new connection.
Yes.
You can
100%.
simplify it down and make it easy for yourself.
Yes.
You can grow into having something more robust, but start really small and simple. And if you're in the Dallas area, check out these DFW events because I promise you, you'll be welcomed with open arms
Oh,
and
absolutely.
really
Yes.
supported in a way that is not, it doesn't feel superficial. It doesn't feel,
That's right.
it's easy to walk in and feel like, okay, I found a room where I can just be myself.
That's right. And you'll
Mhm.
be loved and accepted for who you are.
Yes,
We have
absolutely.
another comment. Eileen has chimed back in. Agree, quality over quantity. Yes, Eileen and I met when I first started networking. Like this is how long we get back. She's one of the very first people I met, and she knows what we're talking about here. Build deeper relationships. Yes, be intentional with how you show up. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, so true.
Mhm.
I cannot believe that we are out of time, Megan. It always goes so fast.
It does, it really does, and as I said, I could talk about this all day long, and
Me
I,
too.
like, and I always encourage people, if you struggle with this, connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to have a conversation because we can break it down and make it a little bit easier. And if you really want to understand how to drive more connection into what you do, like I love, whether you're a member of IAW or not, this is what I love talking about
Yeah,
all every
yeah,
day.
right. And you can attend meetings without joining. I mean, you can check it out. You
Okay.
don't, there's guest.
Very
Yes,
low
yes,
pressure.
yes,
Yeah, because that's
100%.
that it needs to be the right fit to be successful. It has to be the right fit. So,
And yeah, and we've talked a lot about what people see, and I speak to that, but I also speak to the what's inside coming out. You know, I always say let your light shine so that people that are looking for you will find you. But
mhm.
tonight we're really talking on that first impression. Like, how do you look? We're going to talk about your style or makeup. We're going to talk about the colors you wear. That's a first impression, but it also is a confidence builder inside because when
Oh,
you look good and you feel good about the way you look, you show up differently. So it's so
absolutely.
important. Mhm.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Thank
Well,
you for taking time. I know you're busy, but thank you for this. Thank you for your nuggets that you dropped and for the time. It is always good to talk with you. I hope you'll come back sometime.
of course, yeah, I love this conversation. I love supporting you and the work you do. I'm so grateful that you are a part of IAW. And thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. And one last thing before we go, I always like to ask. The name of this show is It's How You'll Be Remembered. It really speaks to the legacy that we're building and that how people will remember us when we're not in the room or when we're not on this earth anymore. So tell us, Megan, how will you be remembered?
So this is actually something I've been thinking about a lot lately. My grandmother passed away in January. She was 100 years old. And it has me thinking a lot about legacy and how I want to be remembered because I still have a lot of life left to live. And am I on that path? And for me, it comes down to the impact I can have, whether it's making one person feel a little bit better, whether it's making someone more confident, whether it's helping them go ask for a promotion or a raise. It's having that impact on other women in the community that allows them to go out and thrive and be successful.
Wow. I think that's beautiful. And I can see that you are doing that. And that's a beautiful way to be remembered.
Mhm.
Megan,
Thank
thank you so much for being with us. It was great to have you on, and I will see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. Thanks, everyone.